Okay, we are ready to get back to assembly. I wanted to let you know, I went back, I thought about it a little bit, and I looked really close at the smaller jewel that we put in. It just wasn't quite big enough to remove all of that damage that was done here. And so I went ahead with a slightly larger jewel, which takes care of everything, and it's perfectly good. So we're going to continue on with all the components here. Some lubrication. Get everything back together. I went ahead and checked all your components, all your train wheels, to make sure that their clearances were good and that the jewels and the bushings didn't have to be moved around. Everything looks great, so we are good to go. and smooth. Great. Okay. Nobody wants to sit still this morning. Looks very good. Get your cannon pinion in place. That's good. There's your lower mainspring arbor jewel. Put your bridge on. Let's see what we get. It's alive. Hey Joe, just wanted to give you a quick update on things as they stand. Right now we've got all your pieces that are pretty close to being ready to go back into your watch. So put that right there, just for fun. All right, so here's what I did. Your movement's ready. It's all back together and looking really good. Timing is great, and that's done. We are all set with movement. I just finished with the relume of your dial and cleanup of your dial. It looks a lot better. You know, this dial has seen some days of being serviced and other things. I got your Seiko looking pretty good. I think it's really nice, actually, considering it has some scratches on the surface. You know, that this is, I think, rhodium plated, so that, you know, there's like, it's really easy to scratch, and so it's been scratched in the past. What I did was I did my little method to clean up all the haze and to make sure it's nice and crisp, like on your other watch. Your hands, they are pretty good, although they do have some scratching on the surface that I wasn't, you know, you just can't polish some of that out. There's no polishing, really. It's just about cleaning. And so they reflect really nicely. If you look under a loop or under a high magnification, you can see on the end of your minute hand, you've got some scratches that just were there, and, you know, they're not, you know, you have to look under magnification to really see them. Your hour hand, it's also pretty good. Let's see here. You know, it's relumed and shiny. Again, under loop or under high magnification, you'll see some scratches, but, you know, there's nothing you can really do about that. It's just from people who put them on or take them off. You know, they might not take the care that you want to make sure they're right. There's your GMT hand. It's nice and red. It's the paint is very uniform over the surface, so it's pretty good. I like this one. Got it relumed at the point, the little triangle there, which is cool. Okay, so let's move on to some other pieces here. Let me move this out of the way. Move this out of the way. So now let's look at your case a little bit. I'm going to zoom in here now that we're down to a couple pieces. What I did was the following. So you're going to need a new crystal. I've replaced your tension ring with your original one that came out of the broken crystal, so hopefully that will go on fine. That shouldn't be a problem. Your case itself on this watch, this one being the one with the good interior, the case was quite rough. I spent some time polishing it, and you'll see, I can show you that one. I figured the case on the one with the bad interior was much, much, much nicer. And I think you would agree. It just looks really good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the case, the outer case, and your proper case back. And your, this is also off of the other watch that we're going to use the movement out of. And I just think it presents much better. There's no harm in the replacement of this case. It's absolutely 100% identical. There's no difference. Your case back and your dial are still the ones that came with this watch. I think it's the right thing to do, considering you have this really nice case. I mean, the edges are very sharp and clean. It has a nice finish. That was really just rubbing down with a cloth. I mean, there's no real polishing on any of this. I relumed your triangle. You know, you have a couple little tiny scratches here on some of the coloring, but, you know, it's a really good insert. I think once that dries and I'm happy with it, I'm going to pop your bezel and your crystal on, and we'll be back in running shape. You're going to have a beautiful watch. So there it is. Okay. Okay, Joe, we have reached a very cool moment. We're about to finish your first GMT of the batch. So let's go ahead and get these final pieces put on. Get your, sorry for the barking. Back on. There we go. nice. Alright, here's your clean and ready to roll insert. Okay. Alright, let's get your case back on. Its new seal. Okay, what's going on? There we go. Nice and smooth. All looks good. And here we are, right at the end. It's beautiful. Oops. Get your GMT lined up. Your beautiful GMT. All right, well, I think that came out really nice. Let's get some shots here. A little close up. Just a final evaluation here. I think it all came out really well. I would say that, you know, of the ones you sent, this is certainly the beauty one. And I think all things considered, you know, with the right case, you got a really great looking Navitimer here. So I'm going to send you this, and we can talk about next steps on the rest. Then I'll get started on your on this movement here. Okay. Hey Joe, I just wanted to give you a sense of the numbers here. You're doing really well in the solid 240s. That jiggle in your signal, that's because my air conditioning's running. So this thing picks all that kind of stuff up. But solidly 240s all day, running really strong.